All right, what's good, YouTube? We're not gonna spend too much time on this, but we're gonna try to get narrow all of this down pretty quickly. But I got a nice little video for you guys, a nice video topic. Pretty much, well, I'm gonna explain to you guys what royalties are and the different types of royalties. So, first off, royalties is just when you're getting paid out on your music, essentially. So here's the definition of royalties right here, and it goes: music royalties are the payments made to right holders, including songwriters, recording artists, and intermediaries like labels, publishers, or producers for the licensed use of their work. So basically, in layman's term, to dumb this down, pretty much all royalties are is just the people that are entitled to be paid out. Paid out for whatever composition you guys make. So a royalty is literally just the way that is what the monetary is, or the money is what they call it essentially. A royalty is just basically, hey, I made this piece of work, or I helped contribute to this piece of work, and this is my portion, and I get paid out in that royalty. So there's multiple royalties that you can actually get and collect, and I'll kind of go through each one of those. So I found this really cool diagram. It's pretty simple and straightforward right here. This gives you a good idea. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hopefully you can. Oh, well, I'm kind of in the way. Hang on. Let's see. Let's see if that moves me out of the way. Bam. All right, that looks a little better. So then you got this little screen right here. Actually, let's move it right here. There you go. So you got this right here, right? So this is this little chart, and it kind of explains to you what royalties, which royalty pays for what and how. So you've got like it's four main royalties, but I think there's like a total of six. But pretty much you've got you can get TV royalties, digital radio royalties, your distribution royalties, and sync licensing. So this is what would be called neighboring royalty rights, your sound exchange, distribution company or a record label, sync licensing, and then I'm not sure what this one is. This union commercials. I'm not. I'm guessing that's yeah TV commercials. So pretty much you can get paid any which way is if your music is being broadcasted, used, and streamed or anything like that. So pretty much your distribution royalties are going to be like your Spotify's, your iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Shazam, that type of stuff, right? So anything that you can put out there on a streaming platform is going to be like is going to be your streaming royalties. That'll be your distrib. You use a distribution company for that. So that's when I've talked to you guys about using things like your distro kids, your CD babies, and TuneCores, and whatever else is out there in the world, right? That will collect those distribution or those royalties for you. Now, a lot of those companies will actually go ahead and do your sync licensing as well. I think TuneCore for a fact does it because I've done it with them. I'm not sure about the others. But pretty much, literally, you just put your music out there, and then those distribution companies will collect on that for you. So let's say your distribution company actually does neighboring rights. I'm not sure if it will, but let's just say it does. That means is let's just say hypothetically somebody uses it on a TV show or on the radio or like just out and about, and they're just using it in like their example here is in bars. Um, so let's just say you're watching TV one day and you're watching a movie, and in the movie, the characters listen to some music. They pop their headphones off, and for a split second, you can hear the song that they're playing. And let's say it's the song that you produced, and then they do their part in the movie, and they put their headphones back on and keep on going. And let's say this whole thing lasts like 30 seconds, right? You will get paid off of that small little portion of even though it's a 30-second little clip of somebody talking and they're playing, you can hear the music in the background. You will get paid off of that small portion, and then you'll get paid for every time that video that movie is watched essentially. So let's say it happens in a movie and you watch it in all the and there's it's playing in all the movie theaters across the world or across the US, and then people go and watch that movie, right? Well, the revenue that goes towards that, you will get a portion of that, just because of people buying the ticket, watching the movie, and they happen to hear that small part because they have the credit to can pay you, right? So that's really cool. Next one is like your sound exchange. That's gonna be your stuff like your satellite radio, the XM radio, and whatnot. So if you have a XM radio or any type of other satellite radio, I don't know if there's other ones, and they play it on that. And it's, let's say I have my own radio station on satellite radio, and I'm playing music based off of my playlist. So I'm just popping in my iPhone, hitting shuffle, I do my little, radio show, and then when I want to play some music, I hit shuffle, let the song play, a couple songs play, and I come back onto the show. Well, let's say one of your songs is the one that plays, right? You will get paid for that for the amount of times that it's streamed as well. So let's say 100,000 people listen to that one particular radio show that I'm streaming, for example. Everybody that listened to it, that contribute to you getting paid out on that. Now, at the same time, when you're getting paid on that, it could be done. It could be all across the different different platforms as far as being on a radio platform. So it could be on one satellite station, another satellite station, another satellite station. You'll get paid for all of that, and you'll be paid out based upon how long they play it, and that type of stuff. To be honest with you, it's pretty cool that's even a possibility because I could literally start a radio, SXM or a radio satellite radio right now, play your music, and you'll get paid for it. And you'll get streams as long as you're collecting, right? Next is the next one beside that is the distribution. We've already kind of talked about that. That's all your distribution companies. Then the sync licensing. Sync licensing is pretty cool. So I had the opportunity to where Dresser was actually going to end up being in the newest Grand Theft Auto that was coming out. I think at the time it was like five, Grand Theft Auto 5. It didn't make it in there. Young Bands didn't want to put it in there because he knew I would get credited for it. So I guess that's why it never happened. But it was supposed to be actually in Grand Theft Auto. So let's say you're playing Grand Theft Auto, right? And you're in one of the vehicles in the car, and the radio pops on, and that song plays. While it's playing, if you're listening to it and you're playing the game, and a million other people in the U.S. are playing the game, and it happens to pop on or whatever in the game, you get paid for every time it streams and it plays in there. In that, and I think it actually works works every time somebody buys a copy of that game as well. Because at some point in time, when you buy a copy of that game, no matter how much you play it or whatever, at some point in time, that song is going to eventually inevitably pop up. So that's why they give you a portion of that streaming as well. So that's really cool. I wish that would have panned out just so I could, better elaborate how that actually works because I was really looking forward to that. That would be really cool to have had a song in a video game. But it could be things like a video game, TV show, commercials, uh, movies, just like I had mentioned in the other one, different all kinds of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool that you can actually get paid off of that. The next one is like the what is that called, the SAG F F AFTRA. I'm not familiar with that one. I have no idea what that is, to be honest with you. But what I do know is it pertains to TV commercials. So every time you have let's say you make a little jingle, right, and it ends up being a Lay's potato chip theme song, and every time they play that, have that commercial pop up, that jingle plays. You get paid for that. So every time somebody is watching TV, flipping through the channels, commercial pops up, it plays, and they watch it, you get paid on that, and that's across all I guess wherever that TV show would be distributed. So let's say that TV show is like a nationwide thing. You'll get all the royalties every time it's played in the nation. But let's say it's worldwide, you'll get all the plays worldwide as well, and that goes for everything else too. Now, a lot of this stuff you may have to work out with your label or your distribution company or however you have it set up. You may have to work those things out so you know how much you're supposed to get paid. You usually they'll send you paperwork and things of that nature for you to actually, kind of agree on things, and it's usually a very small percent, like very very small. And the reason for that is because of the amount of streaming that it actually will see. So, for example, let's just say for number's sake, you only get like a 3% payout. Sounds very little, but let's say you're getting hundreds of millions of plays. Let's say you're getting a 3% payout and it gets played 300 million times across all different types of platforms. It could be your distribution, your sound exchange, your like all of that. Let's just say it does is doing all that. That's why it's such a smaller percentage because it's a smaller percentage, but it's a way larger number. It's very vast that those plays could be played, and it could be on a multitude of different platforms and all types of stuff. Because there's a lot of streaming platforms that are not even accustomed to the U.S. So, like on my distribution company, they distribute to stuff that I've never even heard of. Companies that are like an African streaming service or a European streaming service or a Japanese and Asian streaming service, something that you've never even heard of, but people will click and listen to it. I'll have to sign into one of my distribution accounts, and I'll show you and let you guys look at the stream so you can actually see like these people are using these different apps. You just may have never heard of them. So I think that's pretty cool. But that's enough of that. We're going to kind of break down each one of the royalties. It's six different types. You've got streaming royalties, the neighboring rights, the digital performance royalties, sync licensing, public performance royalties, and then mechanical royalties. These are all like the technical breakdown of it, and all of these are very, very important. And there's one in particular that I'm going to kind of go on. So streaming royalties, it's as simple as it sounds. If it's on a streaming platform or anything like that, or a distribution company has put you out there, you collect those royalties. I'll leave a link to this website, this web page as well in the description. The neighboring royalties again is like the neighboring royalties is this one here. That's the TV show, radio, bars, etc. So you could be at a bar, right? And let's just say you're having a drink, and then they play your music in the bar. You're entitled to a royalty on that. That's kind of cool, right? Next one you got is digital performance royalty. So this one's a little different. This one I had to do a little research on. This is your sound exchange. So again, it would be any type of digital type music. So it could be something like the series satellite radio. It could even be a podcast. Say you're hosting a podcast and you critique music or you play music or in between sets in your podcast, you place a couple of songs and then you go back to your whatever your topic of the podcast is. You get paid on all of that. So that's really cool. Um, your sync licensing, that's the TV shows, movies, video games, and things of that nature. So that's really cool that you can get paid like that. Now, public performance royalties. So this one is the one that I was really wanting to talk about because this one here is very, very important. And the reason being is because, let me move this screen out the way again. There we go. The reason this one is a very important one, the public performance royalties, is because back when I was sending a lot of beats out to artists, and um, I'll use the example of V-Lone Thug. When V-Lone Thug came out, this is when I found out exactly what a public performance royalty was and how it actually worked. People would always say, "Oh, you're a clout chaser. You're just trying to get Cardi's clout." No, that's not the case. The reason that I was so adamant about trying to make sure I got paid out and was getting my royalties because of this one right here, the public performance royalties. This is where a lot of producers actually lose out on a lot of money and get cheated out of money. Because basically, what this means is, let's say you steal one of my beats like Cardi did, and you go and you go on tour with Lil Uzi Vert like he did, and you perform it. You every time you perform that song, whatever the revenue that was made during that performance, you are entitled to a portion of because you helped contribute to that performance. So like when there's a video that it was like Cardi and Uzi and they were all like in some weird looking it looked like a hole in the wall type club almost like a warehouse and a V-Lone Thug is playing in the background and he's kind of performing it in the middle in front of everybody and whatnot and they're selling V-Lone merch, right? ASAP Bari was in the video and all kinds of stuff, right? So the reason that that's important is because let's say you go to a concert, right? You watch your artist perform and they perform that song. That's you should have gotten paid for that. All those tickets of all those people in there, you're entitled to a portion of that because of them performing that song and the people being there for that song, right? Now let's say this artist says, "Hey, you know what? We're having an after party at such and so location. If you want in, it's $100 to get in, and we can do a meet and greet. We can hang out. I'll do a little performance there. We can high five, handshake, and dap each other up, whatever the case is. You're entitled to all of that as well if they're performing your song." So going back to the example I gave you of Cardi, that let's say Cardi goes and does a song, performs at a concert, does this thing or whatever, gets paid on that. You missed out on royalties there because you're not getting your public performance royalties. Then he goes to the after party, right? And he performs there, kind of just bullshitting around, playing music, playing the song. You're entitled to that because the song is being streamed and being played, and money is being made while your song is playing. Now let's say he gets in there and he's selling V-Lone Thug or V-Lone merch and things of that nature. Because he's using V-Lone Thug song and that beat and performing it to promote his own endeavors, his own ventures, which help elevate V-Lone, that you're entitled to that. So those T-shirt sales, let's say for the meet and greet, party charges you guys $100 a head to come in. 100 people show up. That's $100,000, right? You're entitled to a small portion of that. Let's say it's just a small 3%. That's 3 grand that you missed out on. Now let's say at that same time in that same moment he's performing it and he's selling merch. Let's say they make another 30 grand out of merch, right? And let's say there's 10 people that are involved with throwing this party and they got to get paid. So that would be $30,000 divided up amongst 10 people. These 10 people have already made 10 grand that night just strictly at the party, right? But then they also got paid at the performance of the concert. So they got paid at the concert. You didn't get that. They got paid at the after party and performed that. You didn't get that. And then they sell merchandise that is directly connected to what you've done for them as far as the music and then putting it all together and using your song as a way to push and promote themselves. You missed out on that. So let's say I couldn't even try to put it into perspective numbers wise how an artist could make a bunch of money on at the show, right? So I will leave that number out because I mean that number is significant. It would be like 500 people for like times 20. So you do the math, right? 500 people times 20. Let's say you get a small 3% of that. You got actually we'll do the math together because that way people can kind of understand and see what I'm talking about. So you've got, let's say he goes and he has a concert. There's 500 people that attend, and each person paid $20 to get in there. That would be 10 grand, right? That'd be 10 grand that they made, oops, off of just that one performance. But let's say he also charges 30 grand to show up, right? So plus 30 grand. These aren't real numbers. I'm just making all this up. That's $40,000 that was made just at the concert, right? And let's say you're entitled to just a small 3% of that. So it'd be times 0.03, right? That means you missed out on $1,200, right? Now in the after party, there's 100 people. They charge $100 for you to go to the after party. So 100 times 100 equals another 10 grand, right? And let's say you're entitled to times. Oh wait a minute, I did that wrong. 100 people. Oh shit, 100 people. I told you guys wrong earlier. I did my math in my head wrong. Times 100. Yeah. All right, 10 grand. So previously they made 40 grand. Now we're at 10 grand, right? Or 40 grand at the concert. Right, another 10 grand just for people showing up at the meet and greet, right? And then now they're performing it and playing it. So so you get those royalties as well, and you're missing out on those royalties. But let's just strictly keep it simple: the performance at the concert, the performance at the after party, plus the charges for the after party, and then the merchandise. So let's say you're entitled to 3% of that, right? Times 0.03. That's another $300, right? Now we add that to your 1,200. This is all in one night, right? So that's $1,500 so far. Now say they sell merch, $100 for the T-shirt, a V-Lone T-shirt. Let's say they sell 50 of them. That's another $5,000, right? Now let's say you're entitled to 3% of that. That's another $150. So we're talking about in one night, you had your first one was $1,200 plus your $300 plus your $150, right? That's $1,600 that you missed out on in one night, right? So let's say this actually happened. Playboy Cardi goes on tour and he does this multiple times, multiple nights over the course of a year. So let's just say, just for numbers' sake, there's 365 days in a year, right? Let's just say he does this 100 times in the year, 100 different nights he goes and performs times 100. That would be what you could have made in a whole year. These are all just like speculatory numbers, just numbers that I'm just using to make the math simple. I don't really know what the numbers actually would be because it's actually very very hard to count that and calculate it because you get paid off of the times that it was promoted or the times that it was played and streamed. So let's say that after party was recorded and people took those recordings and put them on YouTube. Well, that will go back to your sound exchange. So if you're getting the sound exchange, you're getting paid off of YouTube, right? If you're getting paid off of YouTube, let's say out of those 100 people that's in that after party, 80 of them go and have different videos and all of them, having a good time, vibing, kicking it. and 80 of them post these different videos on 80 different YouTube channels, and they get various plays. Let's say one is a really popular channel, it gets 50,000 plays. Playboy Cardi After Party, he performs with V-Lone Thug, blah blah, whatever is titled, and it gets 50,000 plays. And you got those other 79 people, and they just post randomly. But let's say it all accumulates 150 plays, right? You are entitled to getting all of that payout. But if you don't collect all of this, or you don't have a way to actually distribute your music and collect on these royalties, you're going to miss out on all of this, right? So that's why your public performance royalties are very important, because think about all the artists, all the producers that have made songs and then they've blown up, turned into hits, didn't really get paid. And then eventually the artist finally, all right, cool, bro, we'll go ahead and pay you. So here goes $1,500 for the exclusive rights to this beat, or 10 grand for the exclusive rights to this beat. And that's it. So what would be 10 grand in comparison to what I just showed you over the course of a year had you known how to get your royalties and done everything properly? So that's why a label will be fine with, oh, we'll cut you a check for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand. Cool, go right on ahead, because they are making money hand over fist off of this material. So that's why it's always good to make sure you got your ducks in a row. You're able to collect your royalties, and you know how to actually do that. The next one is your mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties are going to be things that are actually like physical copies. So something like a CD, tape, vinyl record, something that you can actually touch, essentially. That type of stuff. It's going from a digital version to a physical version of whatever it is. So a lot of people may remember when I did Wave 1 and 2, I made it available. Actually, I believe it was Low Wave 1. I made it available to where you could actually buy a physical CD. So if I were to give you the Amazon link to get to that CD, you could buy the CD and get the physical copy of it, right? And you will actually get paid on that, because that's a mechanical royalty. Let's say Walmart picks you up and starts to put your music in their on their shelves. So our Walmart, Target, whatever else, Best Buy, whatever else sells music in a physical form, you can actually get paid off of that as well. Those will be that mechanical royalty. So this is really good to kind of know all this stuff, or have the basics of what I'm explaining to you. So that way you have an idea of like, hey, I made a song, it's getting kind of popular. This artist is actually performing it. I need to make sure that I'm collecting my royalties. Now, just don't go out and as soon as you see people doing this, I'd be like, oh, I need my money. You're cheating me. And you try to message them real quick or whatever the case is. Do things properly to begin with so you can head these things off. This is why I say, if you're going to be doing stuff consistently with artists, go ahead and work something out. Use these distribution companies that will allow you to go ahead and split your royalties. So I believe DistroKid is the one that you can actually split royalties. So let's say I produce the song and then I get Fonny on it, and then I get another artist like Diego Money on it, and so there's three different people that need to get paid. I can put the music out and make sure I get paid my percentage, and I can actually put my percentage in. I can make sure Fonny gets paid and gets paid out and gets his percentage, and the same thing with Diego Money. I can make sure he gets his percentage. So it's really cool that a lot of these distribution companies are actually getting a little bit better about that to make it easier on artists to do so. Now, I'd have that same platform and using that same company, and I would have to have Fonny and Diego Money sign up for those platforms. Then I would have to connect my account with theirs when I post the music and upload it. So when I upload the songs or upload the album, whatever the case is, it'll ask you who are the other contributors to this composition. You would put in the information that you need to make sure that those two individuals will get paid. Now, so no matter how much it is streamed on any platform across whatever, even though it's all coming to my page, they'll get their revenue, and they'll get paid out before I even get to touch all of it. So it's not like I could get it all and then cheat them and try to send them less than what they're entitled to. It will automatically disperse. All you guys got to do is just work it out between you and the artist or the producer or whoever you're working with. Do your like a simple contract, and I think a lot of these different distribution companies will actually help you do that, or at least has a platform on their website to help you do that, or at least walk you through the steps. There's a lot of YouTube videos where you can find stuff like that as well. But that's the basics. I know this is a little bit longer video, but I wanted to kind of try to make it as quick and as condensed as possible. We're at about almost 25 minutes here. But that's basically it. So I'll leave the link to this website here so you guys can actually go through, look at it, kind of find some information. And I believe me, I'm just doing this really quickly, so I may not have hit every point for you guys, but just read through this. If you got more questions, put them in the comment section, and I'll be able to help you out. And if I'm wrong about something, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a genius. I don't know every single thing. But this is just what I've learned over the years and done my basic research. I do collect a lot of these royalties because my distribution company and me distributing my own music on platforms, I'm able to collect all this. But the main thing and the biggest thing that you want to take away from this is to basically essentially protect yourself and have ownership over your music. So another good thing that you want to do is always copyright your music and your content. So you can use BMI or ASCAP, and I think they've changed BMI and ASCAP and how they work now. So it's a lot easier for people to actually do what they need to do as far as their music goes. So that's all I got for you guys today. It's a little over 25 minutes, so I ain't gonna take any more of your time. If Follow me on all my social media. If I got it, you'll find me. If I don't, you won't. Drop a comment in the comments section. Leave a like or dislike if you dislike the video. But either which way, just interact with the video so the algorithm always works in my favor. And just let me know what you guys want to see from here. If you want to see any more content on me producing beats and doing stuff, if you guys got more questions, whatever else you guys want to see, I'll go ahead and do it, make it happen. Um, and we'll just kind of go from there. I've been loving the support and the love and the feedback that I've been getting back from all of you guys, and I appreciate that and hope that continues. So that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace. I'm out.